Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. We'll be right back to the show. But before we do, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, factormeals.com, where if you go to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50, you can get 50% off your first order. That's factormeals.com/unbroken50. If you're like me and you are a person who is busy trying to create a life, heal, work on their health, wealth, and relationships, and not to mention deal with the day-to-days of normal life, you do not have time to be going to the grocery store and trying to figure out what you're going to cook every single day of the week. In fact, one time I did the math and I realized I was spending over 15 hours a week at the grocery store and cooking. When I added Factor, I got to use that time for myself, for my family, for my friends, for my community, and for my business. And so if you're in the place where you need some more support in the kitchen, head to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50 to get 50% off.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. Let's start creating yours with the SUVs of the future. Like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer. They all earned government 5-star overall crash safety ratings by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Because the SUVs of the future aren't designed for a few. They're for everyone. Be future ready with Ford SUVs. Government 5-star safety ratings are part of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's new car assessment program. For more information, visit nhtsa.gov.
Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation? Welcome to the Think Unbroken podcast. I'm your host, Michael Unbroken, and this podcast is about helping trauma survivors let go of the past, overcome their fear, discover their identity, become the hero of their own story, and ultimately to be unbroken. Our goal in company is to bring on guests and experts in the fields of mental, physical, and psychological health to help you overcome the past, to take back your power. And in this podcast, we are unedited and unfiltered, and we're going to give it to you real so that you can start to create massive change in your life. If you're curious about learning more outside the podcast, you can get a free copy of my book, Think Unbroken, at book book.thinkunbroken.com. That's book.thinkunbroken.com, where you can get a copy of my #1 best-selling book, Think Unbroken: Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma. The most important thing that you can ever do, my friends, is show up for yourself, and that's where you are today. And I appreciate you. I have massive gratitude for you. And without further ado, let's get into the show. We'll be right back to the show, but before we do, I'm going to take a moment and tell you about my new book, Unbroken Man, a man's guide to being the hero of their own story. I sat down a few months ago and realized that there are so many men in the world that need guidance, that need support, that need to learn about trauma, removing themselves from toxic masculinity, breaking down the barriers to vulnerability, getting unstuck, and ultimately learning the tools to become the hero of their own story. Unbroken Man is available for pre-order right now if you go to men.thinkunbroken.com, where you'll also get access to over $1,000 in bonuses, including the 6-week in-depth trauma healing coaching app, which you'll get instant access to. I created Unbroken Man to be accessible to everyone around the world, but it is written for men from the guise of a man, and I hope that you will find it to be a practical tool on your healing journey in the same way that thousands of men around the world have. So check out men.thinkunbroken.com to pre-order, and until next time, be unbroken. And we are live. Hello, 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 my friends. Whether you are watching on Zoom or Facebook or Instagram or wherever you are in the world today, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to be here with you guys. If you're watching on Instagram or Facebook and you want to go live and ask questions, there's some links in my bio that you can click to come over. And if not, hang out. It's going to be an awesome, fun, exciting night. If you want to ask questions, you can definitely do so right down here. Just add your question, add your comment as we go through. We're actually going to go a little bit old school here, which I'm very, very excited about. Is I'm going to talk to you guys about one of the first pieces of information that I ever created for Think Unbroken, and that's called the 10 points of power. So I created this. I was sitting in my living room after having a coaching session with my mentor, and we were talking about kind of like these rules for life. And so a few weeks ago on Think Unbroken podcast, I'd broken down like these 10 rules that I follow my life by, these things about the way that I think about the world, how I choose to show up. And I encourage everyone, if you had not ever created your rules for life, go and create them. Go find your rules for life. Go and build the thing that you need to build in your life so that you can be successful. And as I was building this and looking at it, I thought to myself, well, how do you transcribe this a little bit deeper? How do you create a little bit more meaning? So if you're watching on Instagram, you can't see this, but I'm going to post a photo, a screenshot of my 10 points of power after we go through the recording today. So I'm very excited about that. So my assistant's going to throw those up here. We're going to do this. Let me see, go and share this screen. Boom. And so I'm going to go over these 10 points. And so again, if you're watching on Instagram or on Facebook or YouTube right now, pop over and come and watch on Zoom. There's a link in my bio to get over here so you can actually see the 10 points of power as I'm going to break down and go through these with you here. So what happened was I'm in this coaching session. I'm sitting in my living room. I'm thinking to myself, okay, what does it really mean? Like, what does it mean to be unbroken, to live your life as an unbroken person, to be able to show up as you are every single day and live life in accordance with who you are? And as I got deeper into it, I was thinking about, okay, what are the things I do every single day? What are the things that I do every day and every week and every month and every year of my life that have helped propel me into success? And what I want you to think about here is some of the things I'm going to talk to you tonight about are things that you've probably heard me say before, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper into them because I think it's really important. So I'm very excited for tonight's conversation with you guys. So this we're talking about is the 10 points of power. I'm going to go through them number 1 through 10. And I'm going to talk to you about the impact that these have not only had on my life, but the impact that they can have on your life as well. If you come, you follow through, you pay attention, you listen. And the screenshot I'm going to post on social later. And I'm going to email this out to the email list tonight. So you'll actually be able to see these 10 points of power, print this off. For a long period of time, this was actually my phone background because I wanted to see them every day. I wanted to be able to look at them every day as a reminder of like all the things that I know for certain unequivocally work in this journey. And so starting at number one is change happens when you become who you are. Change happens when you become who you are. And what does that really mean? Change happens when you become who you are. You see, who you are today is not who you're going to be. And so often we get caught up in this idea that this is us. We are an evolutionary species. Like if you really think about this, if you break down who you are, we are in constant evolution. And in fact, I would argue you should not be the same tomorrow as you are today. You should not be the same tomorrow as you are today. Why? Because that means if you are the exact same tomorrow, then you have not been doing the work to show up in your life. You have not been learning. You have not been paying attention. Now, it's easy to get like not only distracted in all this, but lost in it too, because there's so much information. But I think to myself, what is the measurement for change in life? Can you be different tomorrow as opposed to where you are today? And look, different doesn't necessarily mean better. And I know that's a weird thing for people to reconcile, but the truth about it is, I don't know how to define better. Like, what does better mean? And who gets to determine what better is? And for me, I've always just thought to myself, okay, if I can be different tomorrow than I am today, that means I'm winning. Can you be different tomorrow? Be different than who you are today, because who you are today, if you're paying attention, will not be who you are tomorrow. So change happens when you become who you are. But people will always say, well, how do I know who I want to become? Well, I'm going to teach you a trick about this, which we'll go into the rest of as we go through this. But, honestly, you grab a pen and you sit down and you write who you want to be. I do a goals workshop at the beginning of every year, and we talk about who you want to be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, in hobbies, in goals, in relationships, in career, and all the things that you have accessible to you. You have to first define who you want to be so that you act in accordance with that person. Because if you define who you are and you start showing up like that every single day, then on a long enough timeline, it's going to come to fruition that you will be that person. Now, people get caught up in it because they want the overnight success. They want to be them tomorrow right now, but they haven't put in the work yet. Think about anything you've done in your life, anything that you've built. There's been a timeline. There's been effort and energy and just putting yourself in a position to be successful. Right. And so many people don't give themselves the effort and the energy and the space to be successful, but instead they just say, well, it didn't work, so I quit. But it's never going to work until it works. That's a little mind trick I play on myself. Like, wherever you are today is not going to be where you are tomorrow if you're paying attention to the direction that you want to head by getting very clear and defining who it is that you want to become. You focus your energy on that. And as you focus your energy on that, change will begin to happen. And change happens when you become who you are. So when you define that person and you move towards being that person, then inevitably, and it's different for everybody. Like, it might be 5 minutes and it might be 5 years until you become that person, but eventually you will, as long as you choose to show up. So number one, the 10 points of power is that change happens when you become who you are. Number two, and you guys have probably heard this ad nauseum, right? Everyone talks about this all the time. Meditate. I do it every single day for 5 to 7 minutes. Just meditate. Just find the space to find peace and calm in your life. And for me, what I focus on in meditation are really threefold. Breathing, right? Just getting my brain and my body reconnected. Because one of the things you have to understand, especially if you've had traumatic experiences in life, like, it's very easy to be dissociated. And dissociated is effectively your brain and your body are not in communication. You're kind of existing within the world without focus, without intention, without even at times knowing what you're doing. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've had these moments in my life where I'm like suddenly in a situation, I'm like, how did I get here? Right? Because I was so dissociated. I had no idea how I got to that place. And so when I focus on breathing first, it's simply about realignment. Can I get my brain and my body reconnected? Can I just pause for 5 minutes? This is really all it takes, is 5 minutes, and just turn off everything around me, sit in silence, and breathe. Just bring attention to where you are right now. Think about your life and what it is that you need to do in this moment to sustain self-love and compassion, which are the other two things that I focus on when I'm in meditation. Self-love. Like, people get caught up in like, I have to do all the self-care. I don't know that's necessarily true. I don't even know that you have to do anything on this list. But I always think to myself, what do I have to do to be in alignment with who I need to be to love myself? Right? A lot of times that's making hard decisions. A lot of times that's about showing up. A lot of times that's about just simply, even in that moment, being like, hey, I need calm right now. I need to relax right now. I just need to simply be me right now. And the other part is self-compassion. We are our biggest bullies. Like, it is crazy to me how often we beat ourselves up. We are so quick to shame ourselves, to judge ourselves, to put ourselves down, to say we're not good enough, strong enough, capable enough, to be so unkind to ourselves that, you know, realistically, we say things to ourselves that if we said to another person, you know, they might punch us in the face, you know, and we're expecting to be successful. Then you have to think about the way that you're talking to yourself and focusing on self-compassion. I want to be clear. It's not about like coddling yourself. It's about asking yourself a very simple question. Am I taking care of myself? On one hand, am I taking care of myself, or am I taking it easy on myself here on the other hand? Because these things are not the same. And so often we think that compassion is taking it easy on ourselves, when in fact, I would argue that compassion is doing the more difficult thing that's on top of mind and following through until you execute. Because the most compassionate thing that you could do in your life is actually live life in accordance with the person that you say you are. And compassion in those moments is about giving yourself the grace to recognize that this is an iterative process, and on your way to success, per the words of a great leader, John Maxwell, you're going to fail forward, right? You're going to continue to fall forward in this way that is actually going to teach you more about yourself than success ever will. But what happens is, failure is such a difficult word for people that when they have fallbacks, when they mess up, when there are mistakes, they like destroy themselves. And this is the number one place in which you must perform and bring in compassion so that you can continue to go forward. So when I'm meditating, whether it's 5 minutes or 7 minutes, I focus on breathing, self-love, and self-compassion. That's number 2 on the 10 points of power. So again, I'm going to send this out to everybody. I'm going to post this on social later. I'm going to invite you to take a screenshot of it. Do what I did at one point, make it your phone background. Because when it's your phone background, you'll see it every single day. I've actually contemplated doing that again, to be honest with you. We'll be right back to this episode of the Think Unbroken podcast in just a moment, but I wanted to invite you to come and join the Think Unbroken Discord community. If you don't know about Discord, it's being built on Web3, which is a platform that we as the users get to own. So no more Instagram or Facebook or algorithms getting in the way of you seeing and being a part of content. In the Discord channel, we're going to grow this to hundreds of thousands of community members, hopefully over time. But today it's small, it's close, it's intimate, where you'll be able to get access to live coaching with me, where you'll have chat with the Unbroken Nation community, where you can talk about a range of topics, anywhere from thinking about habits and growth mindset, goals, trauma, recovery, dating, relationships, career, accountability, business, meditation, feedback, and more. And so all you have to do is go to thinkunbroken.com/discord. That's thinkunbroken.com/discord. That's DISCORD to join the Unbroken Nation community. Number 3 is to write every day. I write every single day because you have to understand we carry so much in our head. Think about this. Now, there are a couple different studies. I mean, who knows who's right? Because I mean, how could you ever measure this? But it's estimated that we have 60,000 thoughts a day. It's even estimated we have upwards of 90,000 thoughts a day. And the predominant thoughts that we latch onto and anchor against are more often than not negative thoughts. And so think about this. Even if on average, you're having, call it 50% negative thoughts in a day, that's 30 to 60,000 negative thoughts that you're having every day. Like, that's crazy. What happens is people get stuck in that loop. And so what I do with journaling is I think to myself, okay, how do I take all of these thoughts, both good and bad, and then be able to decipher what is actually true and what is not? There's truth in our words. And so if I take a pen and I start writing down and I'm having these negative thoughts that I'm getting out of my head onto paper, I evaluate those thoughts and I ask myself a very important question. Is this true? Is this thought true? Is this negative thought that I have just written down true? I cannot recall a time where it was ever true, because I was able to sit there and make meaning of it. We get so stuck in our damn heads about this that we can't actually look at it removed from the present moment. And what happens, and this is my opinion, when I write, I remove myself from the moment and the emotion of it, and I look at it and I think to myself, is this true about who I am? Yes or no? It's almost always no. That applies also for the good thoughts, because I try not to get so tied into good or bad, but instead compartmentalize and recognize the truth of the human experience. Whether it's good or it's bad, it will pass. Whether it's good or bad, it will pass. Whatever is happening in this moment, it could be the greatest moment of your life. It could be your wedding day and you're walking down the aisle and there you are. And it's like your love of your life and there's doves and fireworks and the whole nine. And you're like, this is the greatest day of my life. That will pass. In the same way that the worst day of your life, where you're like, oh my God, I've destroyed my life. Everybody hates me. I cannot go on one step longer. That will also pass. And when you take this time to find the space to write every day, you will find that most of those thoughts that you have that consume you, they're fleeting. We just get tied into them because we loop, because that's part of the natural human behavior. Is we tie ourselves to these emotions and we think to ourselves immediately, oh, this is who I am because it happened one time ever in history, right? And so what you discover as you go through this is like, it's not true that you are, nor that you have to be who it is that you think that you are in that moment, because that moment will pass. And so when you're writing, you're defining who you are by evaluating whether or not what you have written is true. And that's this really interesting personal exercise that I think people miss out about what it is that journaling really brings to the table. Because when you are making evaluation of yourself, you're able to further and better understand whether or not whatever that notion is that is in your head about self actually has any empirical evidence of validity. Because where is the supporting fact that you're a loser? Right? Where is the supporting fact that you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, you're not capable enough? Where is that? Because to me, it's just so much trapped in the nomenclature of the experiences that we have that we tie into that negativity. And so we just start to loop. We go, yeah, I guess I am a loser. Fucking based on what? Like, who chooses that? Right? And so when you write down, when you step into number 3 and you sit down and you write every single day, you'll suddenly find the truth that your thoughts are lying to you. And it's this really incredible thing that you'll see happens the deeper that you go into this.
So again, I'm talking about the 10 points of power. If you're just joining, it's Tuesday night coaching. Thank you guys for being here. Every single Tuesday night, we're doing this 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And you can sign up to get notified if you just click the link in my bio, if you're on social media. And then if you got in through the email, you're already on the email, so you don't need to do anything. So on Tuesday nights, I'm coaching because I want to give you guys the tools that I've learned over the years to help you change your life. This is a huge way that I get to give back to my community, to you guys, the Unbroken Nation. I know many of you listen to the Think Unbroken podcast, so thank you for that. I know many of you have bought the next book that I have coming out called Unbroken Man. Thank you for that. Like, it means the world. And Tuesday nights is just my way to give back to you. Mondays are too chaotic. We're like, shit, it's Monday. And then by the time it's Friday, like, nobody wants to do this. Like, let's keep it real. So I said to myself, Tuesday nights are the night. So every single Tuesday, 5 p.m., probably until I don't want to do this anymore. Who knows how long that'll be. This is where we're going to be. So this evening, we're talking about the 10 points of power. We're on number 4. Number 4 is my favorite. And these are in no particular order. This is just how I happen to write them when I wrote them. And to give you guys a little context, I actually wrote this initially 4.5 years ago. So this became one of the foundational pillars of everything that Think Unbroken is. Almost 5 years later, it's going to be 5 years this summer, I sat and I wrote this for the first time. So number 4 in the 10 points of power is you are not broken. You're not broken. You are not your past. You are not a victim. But you have got to be willing to adopt that truth. People love to play I played the victim. You guys know this. I've shared this. If this is your first time ever hearing me speak, first, thank you for being here. I'm always the first to raise my hand and say that I played the victim. When I was at 25, heading into 26, I was 350 pounds, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day, drinking myself to sleep, getting high from the moment I woke up till the moment I went to bed. My life was a disaster. I was playing the victim. I blamed everybody. I blamed you. I blamed my family. I blamed the community. I blamed the school. It was everybody's fault but Michael's fault. It was everybody's fault but my fault. And it wasn't until I realized the truth about victimhood. It takes the same. I want you, if you're taking notes right now, I saw a couple of you are. If you're taking notes, this will be one of the most important things you will ever write down. I promise you this. When I had this understanding and I came up with the notion that you are not a victim, this changed everything for me. It takes as much energy to build your life as it does to destroy your life. I'm going to say that again. It takes as much energy to build your life as it does to destroy your life. And so you choose how that energy is displaced into the world. Who do you want to be? Because you're not a broken person. You're not a victim. That's bullshit. That's a lie. That's something that you're telling yourself. That's something that you leverage because life isn't what you want it to be yet. And instead of finding tools to continue to move forward, we leverage that victimhood and we go, oh, I guess this is all I'm capable of. Oh, I guess this is my life. Oh, I guess this is what I deserve. And that's not true. You're not broken. You're not your past. You're not a victim. You just have not yet put yourself in a position to be successful. You have to put yourself in a position to be successful by understanding the truth of this current moment, that every single choice and decision that you make matters. You are not look, I believe truly that we are all valid, that we all have worth, that we all deserve to be here, but we are not good enough yet. And people get caught up in this because they go, aren't we supposed to be good enough? You are good enough as who you are right now, today, in this moment, period. I will never argue that. But think about the life that you want to create. If you change nothing about your life, how will your life be different? Please explain it to me. Somebody tell me how your life can be different if you change nothing, right? It cannot be. It will not be. It will never be. And so what you have to do, even though this is uncomfortable, is you have to acknowledge that you are not good enough yet, Y-E-T, yet to be the person that you're going to become, because you have not put in the work. And when you do put in the work, watch your life be different. Now, look, people will get tied into this thing about, well, I can't, and it's too hard and it's too difficult. That is a victim's mentality. And if you think that way, that will be your reality. You have to recognize that you're more than just a survivor. You're a warrior. You have the ability to do whatever it is that you want in your life, but you've got to be willing to do it. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's showing up for you. Nobody's going to give you the tools. Nobody's going to ever be anything for you that you cannot be for yourself. One of my business coaches, who I love dearly, his name's Brandon Dawson. Some of you guys watching know who he is. He said something to me one day that really transformed the way I think about life. He says, you're never going to hire someone to solve your problems. You're never going to hire someone to solve your problems. That blew my mind. And it made me realize the truth about what coaching is. Like, coaching is about me giving people tools, very much like what we're talking about right now, to then take into life and use. And if you are not willing to use those tools and you will leverage your victimhood, nothing in your life will be different. And look, I'll be clear with you. You have the right to play victim. We all do. And I've played that role. So I'm going to be the first to be like, yep, been there, done that. But ask yourself, who do you want to be? Because if it's not in accordance with a victim, you might want to question what's going on. And look, let's be very clear. You're not responsible for the bad things that have happened to you. Like, you're just not. There's no culpability in it. It is no way your responsibility that people who should have taken care of you did not take care of you. That is not on you. That is not. But you have to understand that from this moment forward, everything that happens in your life is up to you. And that's empowering and it's beautiful. And I promise you, if you pay attention, it will change your life forever. So that's number 4. We're talking about the 10 points of power. Number 4, you are not broken. Number 5, exercise every day. Even if only for 20 minutes, move your body. A healthy body and mind go hand in hand. I have found, and I won't harp on this. Let me be clear about that. I won't go deep because I recognize how difficult physical movement can be for people. As someone who personally, and I don't talk about this a lot, I have autoimmune disease. And so because of that, I have to frequently force myself into physical movement. But I have found that every time that I do, I feel incredible. Some of you probably noticed the other day that I posted that I'm running a marathon in a month from now. And the reason why is because I said, I've got to challenge this. I need to move my body because a healthy body and mind go hand in hand. So find a way to move. We're so sedentary. My friend Gary Brecka, who's an amazing, amazing human being, he was speaking just recently and he goes, sitting is worse than the new smoking. Sitting is going to kill you faster than anything else on planet Earth. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. And it's so true. There's so much research that's being pointed out right now to this idea that sitting is going to be something that will really take away in your life. And so I want you to think about that as you go through this. It's really important. And when you think about exercise, like it's not running, it's not sprinting. You don't have to do Ironmans. Like, just go for a walk. Like, it's crazy. Like, have some endorphins released, get a little bit of good dopamine, not dopamine from your phone or electronics or video games or food, but moving your physical body. So I invite you to think about that. That's number 5. Unbroken Nation, hope that you just got a tremendous amount of value from today's episode. I want to know what you think. Please do me a favor and review, rate, and share the episode with 3 friends on social media today. It would mean the world if you did, because ultimately at the end of the day, creating community and connection is how we heal generational trauma in the world. And I need your help to do that, Unbroken Nation. So if you're on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you are, please like, comment, share, review. I want to know not only what you like about the show, but how I can make the show better, how I can make this further about helping you on your healing journey. So do me a favor. And when you do, shoot me a screenshot of you making the review to my DM at Michael Unbroken on Instagram so that I can have a conversation with you, say hi, and more importantly, so I can share it with the Unbroken Nation. Thank you so much, my friend.
We'll be right back, but I wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about the Think Unbroken 6-week trauma healing coaching program. If you go to coaching.thinkunbroken.com, that's coaching.thinkunbroken.com, you can sign up for the 6-week daily Think Unbroken Trauma Healing Coaching Program. In this program, we're going to go over the 6 principles of healing trauma, adaptation, understanding the impacts of trauma, how to become the hero of your own story, what to do next, and ultimately what it means to be unbroken. For more information about this 6-week coaching program, which you can download as an app on your phone and take with you everywhere, no matter where you are in the world, it's interactive. It's built about giving you practical tools that you can use in real time. And if you're ready for what's next in your life, go to coaching.thinkunbroken.com. Again, that's coaching.thinkunbroken.com. Now let's get back to the show. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of live coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program.